It's Easter with Andy and Jai and guys.
Welcome back. We're now in episode 4 of our journey through Easter.
Yeah. Joe left us in an awkward space after the end of Good Friday, so let's just quickly pick it up again at Holy Saturday, and let's see if we can figure out what happened.
Well, we're back. It's Saturday, and we left that in a bit of an awkward space there, Joe. It was just kind of cut at the end, and yeah.
It was all a bit awkward, and welcome back.
Yeah, sorry about that. That kind of just, hey, it's part of life.
Yeah.
But thanks for that. Let me kind of cut out like that.
Yeah. I mean, when you went, I was suddenly sort of put into this place where it felt very awkward. And
we didn't know what to do.
Like how do you end that when it went like that? And I was thinking about where we've come on this journey of Easter and sort of Palm Sunday and Maundy Thursday and then Good Friday and what we were talking about in that episode. And then the way it cut off. And I thought, for me, there's this sense of like Jesus dying. And then I was remembering that 5 years ago, I lost my stepdad in a motorbike accident. And, I was living in Cambodia and my sister rang me in the middle of the night. And, obviously like really, really sad. But then I remember somebody saying to me that death should never feel comfortable. And like it was uncomfortable. And as I was thinking of when you cut off and the awkwardness and Jesus dying, like the people, like I remember saying in the previous episode, like the people, like what on, like it just doesn't feel comfortable.
Oh man, no, that's so true. That's so true. And especially this one where everything just kind of is ripped away. We started on Palm Sunday talking about all these expectations that people had and the hopes that they had in Jesus as they celebrated him as the Messiah. And then you get into Maundy Thursday and Jesus putting on slave clothes and doing slave things and the expectations of the disciples saying what's going on. And every step of the way is this sense of God's doing, like we thought we knew how the story was going to go. And it didn't go that way. And you have this sense of ripping away of hope, of faith. What do you do? There's this great story, right, in the Bible that's two kind of, we'd say like fringe disciples, not one of the 12, but some of the other kinds of folks around, and they're walking to Emmaus, which is just not that far away. And on this road to Emmaus, these two disciples are talking, and there's this sense that
Joe, who are these people?
Who are these people?
Yeah, do we know them?
We don't know who they were. Actually, they may even have names. I don't recall, but they're not the 12. They're part of the
wider. Yeah,
they're part of the wider group,
okay.
And so they're part of the crowd. And as the crowd is going, and then Jesus died. And he was the one who was supposed to bring change, hope, revolution. It was the Lord's anointed servant who is going to redeem and to save. We know how God will redeem us, and then he's dead. And again, we didn't really get into it, but the death he died is so shameful, naked, literally pinned to wood publicly. A way of death that Rome did to send a clear message. Don't mess with Rome. This is what happens. And Rome had a way of humiliating people who conquered generals, conquered kings. And so this notion that this is the king of the Jews, they wrote over his cross. This is what we do to the king of the Jews. We kill him naked. And all the followers are sitting there staring at that. And then he's dead. And then what do you do?
I mean, what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah. I mean, I think death is just awkward, right? You said it before. Like, death is just awkward. It's not like natural. It's not what's meant to happen. I kind of think of it like Easter. We have a lot of eggs, right?
Right.
And we like these disciples kind of put them all in the basket. And the basket's Jesus, like the basket is Jesus. And they said to them, well, I'm giving you my entire life. I'm leaving my family. I'm leaving my job. I'm leaving everything. It's all placed in you. And now we're at the point where it's like, oh crap, that just went wrong. That took a turn, right? Like,
took the turn. And again, you put everything into this Jesus basket. And then it just disappears.
Well, it's like the bottom fell out. It's like it's like you just lost every egg you had in that basket, just fell out the bottom.
They all cracked. Yeah.
And this is a story that we would, this is the work of God that helps us understand the way reality is. That this is what God does. This is what God is like. And this is what it means. Again, we talk about that relationship that we have between God, each other, and the world. And that gives us purpose, meaning, sense of self. And then all of that just, again, pick your metaphor. Bottom drops out. It goes up in smoke. It just evaporates. It's done. And so suddenly. And so here, the thing is this, though. Walk before God long enough, and you will walk these steps. Because we think that God, we can't do otherwise. We talk about God, we reflect on, we preach, we hear, we worship, and it gives us this understanding that God is like this, and we walk faithfully like that, and this is what it means. And then the floor will drop out of that story for you sometime.
And so this is encouraging, right? Like, this is like the disciple, well, kind of encouraging. I mean, it encourages me a little bit, because it's like, I've had moments in my life where I've like, like I lost my grandfather, or I've lost good friends when I was in hospital when I was a kid. And it just felt like, whoa, life is not like simple, easy. These disciples have experienced the hopelessness of life.
Like everything they put into it is gone.
Yeah. And again, the walk with God long enough, and you have that chapter in your story too. Now, one of the things I love is that the Psalms, right? The Psalms are the poetry of the people of God. Poetry, like song lyrics, right? We express our hearts. And one of the Psalms, Psalm 88, is just dark as, dude. Like there's no turn of hope. There's no a lot of them will talk about really difficult things, and a lot of them will have.
Was that the guy who was screaming last time?
Was that the screamer? Is that the screamer?
It was. Okay. Yeah, now he's shy.
Okay. Hey, but picking up your point, the Psalms traditionally have some kind of like, this is hard, this sucks, like, but then they kind of go like, God, you are good, like,
oh yeah,
I love you, like, please see me, all that kind of stuff, right? But you're saying,
so you have these, the fancy word, right, is the Psalms of lament. Lament is crying out, and so you have all of the songs of lament will have, it's rough, it's hard, it's tough, yet I will hope in the Lord, yet I know you will redeem. And so there's this corner that gets turned, and you look towards and you hope, but not Psalm 88. Psalm 88, it's just, the darkness is my closest friend, is the last line. And it's just shoot. It's one of my favorite chapters in all of Scripture, because it affirms that when all you see is darkness, you don't have to pretend you're not there, because God went there first. And you don't have to pretend that you have hope if you don't. It's okay.
And do you think that the world now still forces us to, like, you still have to feel like there's hope when there isn't any hope? Like, do you feel, like if I'm a young person and I'm having a really, really heck of a time and like it's not okay, the world always wants me to feel like it's okay.
I've got to be good, because I've got to put on my best face on Instagram. I've got to show that I'm okay. I'm okay as a person. Don't. And this says actually, it's okay. Like everyone, it's good.
So this is where it gets really, obviously I get excited about this stuff, because there's two bits with this. One, it's okay to be there. And so much of my own growing up in the church was Like you always have to feel happy. There's this underlying thing in there, and just to be allowed to be in a it's called discomfort because it's not comfortable, and we don't like to be there, and we don't like it when other people aren't comfortable. So we try to make it that we try to paint silver linings on stuff, but this is like, no, it's okay. It's okay to be here. And then the second part that I love is that not all of us are in that spot at the same time. This is why community is so important, guys, is that when I can't see, when all I see is darkness, I know, one of my whanonga, they can still see the light. And they can come alongside and say, and just, man, it's literally like, hold my hand, walk with me, because I see what you can't. And just hold on. And I won't make you have to hope. I won't make you have to feel something, but I feel and I see, so we can walk together.
And when it's my turn to feel hopeless or discomfort or hardship or whatever, I know that you, Andy, are going to hopefully be in a space where you're going to be able to hold my hand.
Well, I've definitely seen this with you, Guy. Like we were in a meeting the other day, and it got pretty like kind of, oh, I'm leading it, and it's pretty hard and it's pretty heavy. And Guy comes along and says, actually, it's okay. You're doing okay. Stay with me. And that's the sort of thing you're talking about, right? Like the community.
Oh, exactly
helps.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the language in the book of Galatians, where, and I think Bishop Elliot talked about this a little bit ago, what it means to bear one another's burdens. And this is like actually what it looks like. This is what it means to bear. What does that mean? It's to carry. How do we carry the weight that we all have? What does that mean? That sometimes I got extra load. I can carry some of your stuff. And some days it's just weighing me down, but you come along and you can pick it up. And it's, I can see a path with light, but I know you can't. And that's okay. And I won't tell you that you can't be there, but I'll just ask, take my hand.
So is that what the disciples were doing? Like they're just like kind of, what are the, Jesus is dead, we've lost hope. Oh my gosh, I had all my eggs in that basket. What are the disciples doing at this stage?
Couple of people you referenced at the beginning walking along a road together.
Yeah, they got no hope. Like they got nothing. They just think this guy that we backed the wrong horse, and we invested everything in that, and so there's no hope, there's no nothing, and it's really like, what do we do now? I don't know. I guess we go home. And I don't know. And that's where everybody is. Again, no one is thinking that this is going to end any other way than shame, disappointment, and hurt.
I guess that kind of leads me to this question of like, how do we hope in a hopeless place?
Yeah. Well, how we hope in a hopeless place starts with the story of Easter Sunday. Because you can't hope, not real hope, unless you know that there's something to hope for.
And so I guess that's part of what we're sitting in right now, which is really difficult, even for us, I guess, trying to unpack this Holy Saturday, or this place where you've got a couple of fringy disciples walking down the road where everybody's kind of looking at each other, kind of going like, all right, well, that was fun while it lasted. Let's go home.
I think Holy Saturday is one of the most difficult days to actually observe well, because it's just within our spirits. We don't do well with a lack of perspective, a lack of hope, a lack of, we want to relieve that tension.
Yeah.
So we're looking for, so we're looking for, what can I look forward to?
And I wonder if there's a little bit of that in our current climate, in that what's going on in the world is that actually everybody wants a little bit of a rational, they want to rationalize it. They want to know why things are happening, what's going to happen at the end of it.
Well, I think of the reporters, right? Like every day we watch Jacinda Ardern come, and often the reporters are asking, well, when's this going to end? When's this going to end? When's this going to end? Right? And
Tell us.
And the reality is that we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, like we don't know. And so that's what it's sitting in for the disciples. But the key is, like, the church, when isolation happens, our church, the Anglican Church of Wellington, said, we want to start small groups and we want to gather together in community, and we want to do that because that's how we get through these hard times. That's how we get through the isolation. That's how we overcome the Holy Saturday, right? By being together and supporting one another in that space.
Yeah, it's gathering together with people who are going to be able to hold our hand and to be able to walk a bit when we find it hard to walk. And likewise, we're going to be able to push and pull each other along that path. A little bit like those two that you mentioned in the beginning, Joe, like walking along that path together.
Well, I mean, if we had, hours and hours, could really unpack, or just like, guys, this is it, dude. Like, this is life, is linking arms and being able to walk together through thick, through thin, through good, through bad. Knowing that this is how we get through it. This is how we get through it. And also knowing that this was God's design, because when we do this, people who don't believe in God see us, and they know that God's real by the way we live, by the way we carry, and we lean, because it's so hard to lean, to really be vulnerable. But when we do it, and people see it, and they go, oh, no, this Jesus stuff might be real and true.
That's good.
Yeah.
And so I think what's to kind of bring this into land a little bit for Holy Saturday is my sense that as we continue to ask this overarching question of what does it mean that Jesus died for my sins, my sense is that we've been in a really uncomfortable position right about now, along with those who were probably in live action. And now we're going, I mean, we have beautiful 2020 hindsight, but my sense is that tomorrow on Easter Sunday, that we're going to really unravel the heart of that question. And what does it mean when we ask, why did Jesus die for our sins?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's where everything comes together. And that's where the story makes sense in a way that nobody saw coming. And Jesus didn't plan anything different.
It's so good, Joe. We're so thankful to be on this journey with you this
So
Easter. Mate, she's some heavy lifting there, and we're really unpacking some really gritty bits of the Easter story that sometimes maybe we don't get in real life on a Sunday, or when we meet in church, or when we're just kind of gassing with our friends or whatever. So, hey, we're really thankful for you, and let's catch up on Easter Sunday.
Hey, thanks heaps, guys. Really appreciate it. Talk soon.
Yeah, cool. Bye. Wow.
Yeah,
It's a bit uncomfortable.
really is.
Yeah.
I mean, hope is gone, right? Like, everything is lost.
Yeah, it's just not nice to sit in this space. It feels gritty, it feels uncomfortable, and there's sort of no real nice way to wrap it all up, as much as you try. So we've covered a lot in Holy Saturday. We talked about a couple of guys wandering along the road, on the road to Emmaus, after it's all gone down with Jesus, and they're sort of all packing up and going home.
Yeah, because they put their eggs in that basket, right? And the basket has just broken,
It's just dropped out.
fallen,
And so,
disintegrated.
then Joe picked it up through the Psalms about how there's this sense that it's okay to cry out when you don't know what's going on. And this idea that you don't always have to be happy and okay or with it, but
Yeah.
that there's a sense that actually in the Bible there are people who were like, what is going on?
Yeah, but the important thing about those people in the Bible, I guess, is like there's two guys walking on the road to Emmaus, right? People are walking together in this community, and so I guess for us, we'll have these days. We'll be like this at some stage, and we just have to have community around us that says, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to be your support in the time that you're down.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, hey, if you're wanting to dig a little deeper into this episode and what we talked about, there's a couple of places you could go. The Road to Emmaus story is found in
Luke 24, 13 to 24, I think it is.
And then you can also pick up the Psalms, which is right in the middle of your Bible. And so if you open up right in the middle, and Joe specifically referenced Psalm 88, which was the one that had no good in it.
Doesn't have a happy ending.
It doesn't have a happy ending. As always, if you've got more questions or comments, feel free to drop them below and stimulate some discussion.
We'll try to get those as soon as we can and answer as many of them as we can kind of get to.
That's right. And as always, the more the merrier. So feel free to share and invite your friends along on this journey of Easter. But that's all we've got from Holy Saturday. We will pick this up again tomorrow on Easter Sunday.
Hopefully, things will be explained. This whole thing will make sense and our question will be answered. But we'll see you then.
See you then. Bye.